Hi, this is Jeremy at 1LD. In this video, I'm going to be walking through how to set up a menu in Pure and also add a bit more content to the page. In the last video, I simply enabled Pure. So in this video, we're going to continue that process and just basic setup. First, I don't want this to take up so much visual real estate, so I'm going to hide that. And then I'm going to go navigate to my Pure stacks. And remember, everything in Pure is grid-based, so the first thing you'll need to do for a menu and other content is going to be to place the grid. I'm going to remove a max width so it always goes across the page. I'm then going to place my menu inside. I don't need this page, so I'm going to remove it. Note that the customization of this right here does not mimic the actual navigation that's in your menu. This is just so you can see some style options over here, but you won't see this live in the back end because it takes some JavaScript to go in and make and grab all your actual menu. And the edit mode in RapidWeaver does not allow us to use JavaScript. So if you want to change colors, they're pretty straightforward. The text and primary colors and sub navigation it's all customizable. I'm going to just leave things how they are right now. Well, with the exception, I'll make the sub nav the secondary. I'm going to make that the same color as the primary. And let me just drag this color right here so we can keep using it. And I'm going to make the text white because a dark text just wouldn't look very good on the background. And I'll make the hover state kind of just an off-white, so it's barely visible as something's happening. And I'll make everything white, all the text and stuff, so it offsets the blue rather well. But I'm just going to leave the default colors for the most part the same. I'm also going to turn the logo on. This is nice if you want to have your logo displayed at the top, which is really common. I'm not going to put my logo in there. I'm just going to put an image just so we see it. And I'm going to reduce the size of this to 50. You don't have to do this. This will just serve as a good example. So 50, and let's say I want some, I'll just do 10 pixels of padding on it all around, which would make the height of my nav 70, because 50 and then 10 on the top and the bottom. If I was to have a smaller height, the menu would still look fine, but the drop down is going to pop up above the bottom line of the menu. So it's best practice to keep it an actual height, or the height of the actual menu. So that's kind of the basic setup. Well, one more thing too, with your Pure Grid, since it is a menu item, let's set the Z index a little higher. That way it won't ever appear underneath other items. And I'm also going to turn sticky on, which means as I scroll down the page, the menu is going to follow me. So it's kind of in a fixed position. But to see that, we're going to have to add some content. So let's just start adding some simple content here. I'm going to do a max width of 1024 on this. I'm going to make my screen a little bigger. I'm going to set the first side to 2/3 and the second one to 1/3. This is the same that we showed in the last video. I'm going to add a little bit of a gutter, and I'm also going to use Stack's built-in padding to put a top and a bottom padding of 50 and padding on the side of 30. That way it doesn't hug the edge of the screen so much. I know a little bit of this is redundant because I'm going to be dragging text in again, just like I did in the last video. And let's copy and paste that a couple times. And I'll just make this a header again. Header 1. And it's not going to be very impressive to do this, but just so we can show the sticky effect and an overall website, I'm going to copy and paste this whole section a couple times. And just to offset it, let's make the background a solid color of our blue that we've been using. And I'd probably want to change that text to a white now, but just to show this off. Okay, now we have our menu in the top right. You can see the sub-menu. We have our logo. Everything's the right size. You can see that sticky effect just barely because the screen's height is still a little small. So let me copy and paste one more section here. Okay, now we can see the sticky nav a lot better. And it's looking pretty good. I mean, we obviously would want to change some of the content. And this header tag's kind of hugging the text. That's done. The spacing isn't added by force because we're really just trying to give you as much customization as we can. And that option actually already comes built in to Stacks. So you can easily add some additional padding at the bottom here. I'll add 30 there. I'll add 30 there. And you'll see in this section right here that it's already looking a lot better with that spacing. Obviously, we're probably going to want to increase the size of the header and stuff, but those customization options are pretty straightforward. And this video is just really about how to set up a menu and a basic page layout. And that's it for this video. I will follow up. This is video number 2 if you are trying to follow them in order. But they don't necessarily have to be in order, though I do recommend watching the basic setup first if you haven't set up here before.